NC State beat Wake Forest, which is kind of equally as big of a potential moment for NC State as it is darn near a backbreaker for Wake Forest. But we'll focus on State for the moment. And if you have takes on either State, Wake, questions, comments, whatever it is, Monday Sound Off coming up here at 3:30. We'll open up the phone line, so get ready for that. Here's what it felt like watching NC State. Not just this most recent game, but over the last 4. What was our number one question for the first half of the season regarding NC State?
Who are you?
Well, who is the identity, or who's your go-to scorer? Right? The if we were having like a theoretical, like a freshman psychology class, then it was like, what are you? And if we were having like a freshman math class, we're looking at like calculus or whatever, then the question was, who's your go-to scorer? Right? If we're talking X's and O's, who's the guy that when you need a bucket you go to? And we asked it, and we thought maybe it was Marcus Hill, and maybe it was Jaden Taylor, and maybe it was Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, and at times it was like, should it be Ben Middlebrooks? Like, there was just all of these questions regarding it. Could it possibly be that they had that guy the entire time, and it was just hiding right kind of, I don't even want to say hiding. It was out there in the open, and for some reason they missed it? Could it possibly be, ready? We're talking about a go-to scorer, okay, putting the ball in the hoop. Could it possibly be that they had a potential go-to scorer, and that was the guy that scored 71 points to break the North Carolina State high school single-game record last year? That's Paul McNeil, their freshman. How crazy would it be if the guy that had scored more points in a single game than anyone that has ever played North Carolina high school basketball might be a guy you should potentially see if he could be the scorer you need? Paul McNeil, in his last 4 games, has scored 52 points. 24 of them came in the win against Wake Forest. Double figures in 3 of the last 4. Those were in the 4 most recent games he's played. Do you know how many points he scored in the 16 games first? Like his first 16 appearances?
Not that many.
28 points.
Yep.
He scored 24 against Wake. That is a new and interesting development for NC State. For a bunch of reasons. But first, scoring the basketball is hard. And if you have a guy that can do it, and it's not like Wake is a bad defensive team, if you have a guy that can do it, that changes everything. Here's Kevin Keatts, the head coach, on McNeil growing into a complete player.
Well, he's grown, man. God, if you would have saw him the first month or two, man, what a talented high school scorer. But, couldn't guard anybody, didn't have, any interest in guarding anybody, really wasn't making his shots, wasn't in shape, really loved college basketball. I mean, really loved college life, NC State. Like, I had to bring him in at one point. It's like, man, are you partying every night? But that's what freshmen do. But the maturity that he's gotten better, and he's grown, and he's doing it through practice. And all 3 of our freshmen, they show up every day for about an hour before practice and get a lot of shots in and staying consistent. And obviously it's starting to pay off for him. So I'm happy for him. I trusted him, obviously, the way he was playing, and I thought he did a good job finishing the game.
How about that? Right, I'm sitting here going, why didn't they get to – I mean, we don't – that's one of those things where it's sometimes you just have to trust the coach. Why wasn't he getting a ton of shots earlier in the season? And he's going like, I don't know. I had to talk to him about just being on campus. I had to talk to him. Okay, I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. Never mind.
Hey, Paul, there's 2 sides of the floor. You got to be able to play on both.
He's like, I trade 3s for 2s. I win this. All right, well, we're going to talk about that, and maybe by the end of the year we can get you some shots. Here's McNeil on earning the coach's trust and getting the chance to start and obviously play a different role.
It was hard, man, just coming in as a freshman, trying to learn the ways, and he see me building, he see me working, he see me trying, and he trusted me, and it's paying off. So it's just one game I had good. I'm just trying to keep going, stay humble, and be blessed about it.
So talking about light bulbs going off, you really hope that's a light bulb moment for Paul McNeil, right? Oh, I can score. Oh, I can do this. But in order for coach to give me those opportunities, there's a certain checklist of other things that I have to do to earn that right. Now I'm going to take care of all of that. I'm going to do all the extras, and I'm going to get the shots, and that's where my natural scoring ability, the 71 per game or in a single game scorer from high school, can come out. If that happens, you hope it's not too late for State. If he becomes a guy that you can depend on to be a legit scorer, having that main character scorer role filled allows so many other players on the roster to go back to just doing what they do best. Michael O'Connell can be an elite setup guy like he was against Wake. What was it, 13 assists?
Career high.
Baker's dozen?
Yeah.
He can go back to focusing on that if he doesn't have to worry about scoring. If he doesn't have to worry about, well, I keep setting these guys up, they're missing the shot. If he's setting up scores and they're scoring, yeah, go get a Baker's dozen of assists. Dontrez Styles can be a shooter and play off of someone else, which is when we've seen him be at his best, right? He's the guy that like has 15 points on mostly catch and shoot. Then the next game, he feels like he has to be a creator, and he's shooting off the dribble, or he's trying to beat guys to the bucket, and then he finishes, 3 or 14. If he can be a guy that plays off of someone else, it makes him better. Ben Middlebrooks can go back to making the dirty plays, the offensive rebounds, the junk buckets. Jaden Taylor, Marcus Hill, Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, maybe roles reduced a little bit because those were guys trying to fill that main scorer role, but if McNeil does it more efficiently, you let him. You hope it's a light bulb moment for the freshman. You hope it's a light bulb moment for the team. And then the third hope, you hope it's not too late. Because there's still, they could play better down the stretch and still not even make the ACC tournament.
Wednesday's big. They play Syracuse, who's literally one spot ahead of them.
I'm not going to say this now because I take this term seriously. Mm-hmm. Must-win potential.
Oh, it has to be.
Must-win potential.
Absolutely.
I'll do the math and see how it all plays out, but you'll likely hear that phrase on Wednesday. Big game in the ACC. And you'll likely get Paul McNeil in the starting lineup playing big minutes and getting a lot of shots. I don't see how you don't after he's been kind of lighting it up the last 4 games.
Guess what? You're not going to surprise anybody now.
True. And that's the next – that's just going to keep happening and happening and happening. And that's when Michael O'Connell and I just mentioned Dontrez Styles, you have to do enough to keep people honest and not just focusing on one guy.
McNeil did say, he said it found about 10 minutes or so before the game. Maybe he was referring to maybe before they went out for warm-ups, but so he found out about 10 minutes before the game, hey, you're starting, buddy.
I like that move from Coach too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't give a freshman time to dwell on it and overthink it.
Yeah, can't think about it. Oh, I'm starting? All right, let's go.
Imagine being like his friends and family.
Yeah.
Just settling in and wait, he's out to start the game?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. This is out of it. Everybody get to the TV. Everybody. I would have gone if I would have known.
I was there covering the game, and we saw the starting lineup. We got ahead of time, and me and a couple other people that were other media members were like, wait, McNeil starting?
Let's go.
And I said, hey, I've been clamoring for the young guys to play more. I was like, all right, cool. So it was Marcus Hill that didn't get the start, but good on him. A great first performance. Gosh, he gets a tip in right to start the game, then a 3-pointer, then an offensive rebound and an assist. He factored in the first 8 points of the game. Before you know it, Steve Forbes is like, all right, I need time out here, guys.
And we've talked about it. State has nothing to lose at this point.
No.
Play the young guys. If they make rookie mistakes and it costs you, it's not like the veterans weren't making the mistakes that cost you as well.
Mm-hmm.